status. Status. Orchard. Notice every time. So status is all about Matthew, but he got double points because he was at the triage. Actually, at the triage, Sipke was there, Matthew and Antoine, right? You were there at the triage, so yep, same people plus Janos and Sotoris. So 7 days ago, so this is just about the theme. Then 7 days ago, mostly pull request. This one, this is Sipke fixing expander control with audit trail. What branch is that? This is on the admin?
Yeah, that's the new admin.
Okay, you worked a lot on the admin. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, there were some glitches, but they are good now.
Good. Pull request, we saw that preserve return URL in the user page. Matthew fixing hidden labels. When I saw your pull request this morning, Matthew, with the 4-picker, I wondered if you actually broke something with this PR. But no, because you just removed some classes. Then merging 110x into dev, title and did page with the using the wrong. What is that, Leo? The title? Yeah, wrong.
Yeah, it's already handled further up.
New admin theme. Boolean. This one was. I'm just not going into the details. Oh, okay, there are more people. It's just that at some point, most people who were at the meeting were at the triage, so it was already triaged. Okay, custom date format when displaying published state is a new feature in the publish state shape to specify a custom format. This is a temp branch because the Sipke actually merged the theme into dev because it was a misunderstanding, and then I just reverted that, so I had to create a temp branch for that, but now it's fixed. Nobody saw that. Tokenized CSS class left behind. So yeah, there was a tokenized class which would trick people into thinking the elements were tokenized while they are not tokenized. Allow custom date. This is the same thing. Dev feels inconsistent use of mandatory. Now it's consistent. It's required. Move content definition to the side menu. So this is Sipke working on the new theme. Edit placement. This is same thing. Who is Ramiasi? There was a pull request for that, Sipke?
Yeah, there was actually. And there was a pull request on the new admin theme branch.
Interesting.
Yeah, and initially I thought this looks good. It makes sense because if you look at the script, it depends on jQuery, and of course jQuery needs to be included before. Then
who is Ramiasi?
I have no idea. Cool guy who created a pull request.
How do you know it's a guy?
That's a good question. Sounds like a guy.
Oh my god, you're so sexist. Fix content field harvester with null content. What is that? On 110x. And there was no pull request, or was there a pull request?
No, this was me.
But it's just in layouts. Okay, it's just in layouts. Okay.
Yes, I did explain the issue in the commit message.
Okay, just looking to see if there is any obvious breaking change, but no.
No, there isn't. This was a feature that I reverted, and because it was broken, so nobody was even able to use this feature.
Okay.
Because it was broken, and now you can break it.
And this one was with the PR. So yes, Sipke pulled the PR. Okay. Okay. Vuitton. Wow.
Must have been a France guy.
No, because in French it's not even this way, so.
But it sounds French. Bouton.
Bouton, it would be in French. There would be a O before the U. Dot. Okay, but did you check that? Okay, only this one. Well, was there any file using the dot button without 2T?
No, I haven't checked.
No, I didn't check that, but it was part of the rest of them because it's just the active state. So.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, but well, that would be weird that someone had a class dot button just for the active state. I understand. Okay, good. And someone copy pasted the same issue in the Orchard layout styles. Good job, Sipke. Well, I should just copy pasted everything for.
Yep.
So RTL support. So good job on working on that. So there are more. Okay. Yeah, adding more support. Yeah. So the idea is that when we detect this class, which is automatically added in the admin menu, where is that? Not here. You found it. So maybe in the document. So we had when we find that the current culture is a right to left culture, then we add a specific class at the top element, the HTML element, so that the CSS files can target specifically when it's present. And in this case, you just override existing styles and just say, okay, now you float left or you float right or you change the size or text alignment, things like that. So that's good. And you tried with the English language. So everything when you do you have any screenshot to share?
Yeah, well, I can share my screen.
Okay,
so we
good.
can go over a few of the screens, and then we can also see how it looks on smaller width screens.
Okay, cool.
Right. I need 2 minutes to open it up.
Okay, just so that Wesley is there, Wesley Harris. So last week we mentioned you, Wesley, because Sipke had a question about your module.
All right.
Because he wants to use it. And he's like,
yes.
Where is it?
Sweet.
Where can we use it?
Yeah, I was on vacation last week, so.
No, even on vacation you can join. That's fine.
Well, I was at a theme park, a little difficult.
Okay, so Sipke is preparing. In the meantime, I will look at Orchard. Seven days ago. Okay, this one, adding components diagram, I will show you after. I made a diagram, wow. This I will talk about, revert update to YAML configuration. Yeah, there was a breaking change from Nick that I reverted, but he fixed that after here. This I will show, so nothing interesting here actually, because everything is part of the same change. Let me see, Alexander, yes, Alexander, however, fixed the CI, my get feed, so, and also made the CI run for every pull request on Orchard 2 and YesSQL, thank you. Then, this we don't care. Nick. What is that? Hosting state storage. I know what it is. It's a private branch. He's working on the file system take 2, which is to remove what he had made with the Orchard file system, just using the standard ASP.NET classes instead of the file providers. So it's been. There is a review going on. You see it's very new. It has been updated 2 hours ago. And I will demo you what I've done last week once Sipke is done with his demo. Sipke?
almost there. Few seconds. Build succeeded.
Okay, I stop sharing. So it's ugly because it's the front end. And you have something in Arabic apparently, because I saw some dates in Arabic.
Yeah, this is the...
so this is Arabic. Okay.
Correct.
It looks almost good.
Doesn't it?
I don't see anything.
Most of it looks good automatically, except for this menu. It was still left aligned, this menu, but I reversed all of these things, changed the floating and all that. Same for this.
Shouldn't open the menu on the top left? Shouldn't the icons be on the right?
This one?
No, the top left. Yeah.
Yes.
The icons.
Good catch.
Okay.
Good catch. Yep. Should start there. Yeah, because if we change back to English, it starts with the icon. Yep. Yep. That needs to be fixed.
That's good. Or something else also. Look at the padding on the left menu. You see the vertical bar?
Mm-hmm.
You see the padding around content definition. Left, top, bottom, right is the same thing. Go back to Arabic. You see?
Oh, I didn't even see that.
I noticed that on the screenshot you sent me. I wasn't sure if it was. So it's not centered or there is some padding missing.
Yeah, there's an issue here.
Good. Yeah. That's fine. Well, you're just missing a padding. Easy to fix.
Yep.
And that looks good. Perfect.
Yeah, once this padding is fixed, this should be good. Yep. And also when we make the screen smaller, this is the
still works.
first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, I was hoping, and in this case, you see the icons are on the right correctly.
Yeah. I forgot to do that for that other menu.
Yeah, so I was expecting Bahor to be here. I saw him last week at the meeting, but he's not here, and I don't see anyone using right to left language. I don't know, Hossein, what language you speak? Do you use Arabic or whatever? We need someone to check that it works. Persian, that works! Perfect, you should try it. If you're at the meeting, it means you care. So if you could try the branch from Sipke and select Persian, and also probably use the PO files for Persian. Are you using the Persian files with Orchard on your sites in Orchard 1? Good. So it would be awesome if you could check out the branch named
teacher/admin theme. This one.
Yes. So you just clone this branch or check out this branch, and you start Orchard. You set up Orchard. You select your PO files, which are the same actually. You don't touch your website. You do exactly the same thing, but the admin theme will be nice. And if you could a link. Well, git checkout and this branch name. Let me give you a link. I will try to make a link. Oh, I'm not presenting, so yes. What's the point of showing with my mouse? Let me see. Orchard and branches, and it should be inactive branches, correct? This is this one. I have the link if you want the link. And yes, just open and then you just try with your language, and if you see any issue that something is wrong, the dates are wrong, the location is wrong, whatever, you file an issue with a screenshot and you tag it with, if you can. That would be awesome. because we see here the English, but we are not sure everything is correctly formatted. Perfect. Thank you very much. This is, I think, one of the last, well, at least for me, the last known issue to be able to merge the theme into the dev branch for the next release. Sipke is already working on the padding. And now he's checking the files, the pages. Okay, good. Good job, Sipke. Thanks, Hossein, for your help. Don't feel obligated to do that. If you don't have time, that's fine. We'll ask someone else to do it. But it would be great to have it. This is what is blocking us on this feature right now. And we don't want to break RTL languages with this new theme. Good. So I will share again to show the progress on Orchard 2. Okay, good. So last week we talked about that. I presented a vision of making Orchard more modular or more componentized, because it's already modular, by being able to use the framework to do something like add Orchard CMS, just to be able to say, oh, I want to use the CMS thing of Orchard, I want to use the admin, or you don't want theming, you don't want content management, maybe you don't want setup and data and multi-tenancy, or you want to add the size from a specific folder or whatever, the modules from a specific folder, or add modules will just load MVC components and nothing else, no multi-tenancy, no CMS, no data, no theming, no nothing. Okay, I just want modules in my MVC app. We have the logic today, so we just need to refactor. And it's beautiful. It works. It's magical. Let me show you. Let me show you. First thing, in the Orchard solution, it looks like this. It looks like this. So what's new from last time you saw it is that now there are two web projects. I made an orchard.cms.web, a web app, and orchard.mvc.web, another web app. The difference is that the orchard.cms.web is the one I always use for Orchard CMS, and the startup is just services.add.orchard.cms. Your app.use Orchard CMS. Okay, that's it. So file new, web project, empty web app, NT-ASP.NET Core web app, add Orchard CMS, use Orchard CMS. And the only project you need to reference is the Orchard CMS project, okay, which is a meta package that will reference all the components, the core components, these ones, okay, that are necessary to run Orchard project. And then the module.cms here, all these modules are inside the web project. So if I go under the modules folder, which is hidden right now, you see the modules folder, it contains all the modules for Orchard CMS. Setup, themes, title, users, and everything. So it's all the modules plus a reference to Orchard.cms, which itself is just a reference to all the core projects that are needed for Orchard CMS. Environment navigation, content management, background tasks, data, which is SQL integration and migration, display management, which is theming, deferred tasks, resource management for resource management, recipes. Okay, all of these are in the Orchard CMS project. And now there is this one, and this one just references one new thing, which is, so for a demo purpose, okay, I called it Microsoft ASP.NET Core MVC modules hosting. Previously it was Orchard.hosting, but for demo purposes, I called it MVC modules hosting. And this is this project, module hosting, which is here, and there is also modules.abstractions, I will show you later, hosting, which is referencing Orchard hosting. Okay, and Orchard hosting has very few references to anything. Just Orchard hosting is just the shell and extensions, which is modules. Okay, it's just modules, nothing else. Being able to load modules and to expose the shell descriptors and load shell dynamically. And events is just to, I'm not sure I need it again. I will try to remove it, but otherwise it's the event bus. So I will try to see if we really need that. I assume we need, but let's see if we need it. And this MVC web app is just a new file, web project, ASP.NET empty thing with a startup, which, like any MVC app, can define a configuration. I'm not using it, but it's just for demo purpose. And then instead of doing add orchard.cms, it just references modules.hosting and says add module services. And when we do add orchard.cms, instead, where is that? Here. This thing from the orchard.cms project will itself do add module services, but also add multi-tenancy, theming, and say that the theme modules are in the themes folder. And also use modules like there is here in the web project, use modules for the middlewares. Okay, so from an MVC standing point, it's just add module services, and this thing will add there are many parameters you can pass configuration. We'll add a module folder, we'll configure MVC with the services required for modularity. It's like an MVC, but also with module configuration. Okay, that's it. Very simple things. See, these things are from MVC. And this thing is to configure the modularity. Okay, so very simple. This is not called actually, I should remove that. It's just old thing. So create new web app, add module services, use modules, and in this web app, the MVC web, there is also a modules folder because it has its own modules. There is one module, which is the Hello World module. The Hello World module has one reference, which is on the MVC modules abstractions module. Okay, it's just a set of abstractions because, and later it will be removed, because the startup class, it has to inherit from startup base, which is in the abstraction. But this is just a pre-RTM thing from ASP.NET, so we could even remove the startup base and just have a class named startup, and it will work. We don't even have to reference any other project, actually. So it's just an MVC app that is a module. Okay. And this module is actually in this solution folder. So I have all the CMS modules here and all the MVC modules here, just one, Hello World. So it has a module.txt because the default harvester looks for a module.txt and it can be empty. It just needs to be there to be able to mark it as a module. It has a controller, it has a view, it has a startup file. Okay, like any MVC app. And in the configure method, we just define a new route, which is the home page, pointing to this module and calling the home index action, which is just returning a view, which is just displaying Hello World. Okay, so this module just displays Hello World when it's enabled in an app. And this app has this module. I will hide everything here. It has a view start, which will define the layout for all the views in this application, which means for all the views for all the modules in this application. And the layout is here, and the layout is an MVC layout. There is nothing with Orchard layouts. It's an MVC layout. There is no theming engine because I didn't say add theming. If I said add theming, then it will look for a theme layout for the current theme and use the layout from the theme with the shapes. But here I'm just saying, no, I don't want that. I just want the MVC layout. So this is MVC layout with a render body, and that's it. So if I run this app, set as startup project, where is that? Here. Play. Should work. I did one change before the meeting. I should not have, but let's see. Worst case, I will revert the change, but that will be sad. It works. Usually when I do demos, it doesn't work. This time it worked. And you see, it's MVC. Boom, it's a view from the module because the home page was from the module. It works. It's beautiful. Did you also notice there is no setup? there is no sites folder because I didn't say add multi-tenancy and I didn't follow the setup module. So by default, when you do add modules like this, add module services, it will add a default shell settings manager, which only provides one tenant, the default tenant. Okay, you don't have to load tenants from the sites folder. It's a single tenant service. Okay, if you want to add multi-tenancy, you just say add multi-tenancy, and then it will register another shell settings manager, which itself will use the sites folder and look for the tenants like in Orchard. And this is what Orchard does. So when we do add Orchard CMS, inside there is add multi-tenancy on the site folders, which will register the shell settings manager from Orchard. Okay, so it will replace the default implementation that add modules does, which is just a single tenant. This one will load tenants from a folder, and anyone can have another logic for loading tenants from a database, from a single file, and even in MVC. Okay, so that will work. I haven't tried it, but here I have two implementations and they work beautifully. You see also there is no theming. I already said that, and that's it. It just works. Now, questions before the next demo? No question. Next demo. So for the next demo, it's the same thing, but I made this demo. So this is from the Orchard solution. From that, what I did is, and it's pushed on the branch, I made a pack. Where is the? Here. I made a pack command, which is doing .NET pack for each of the projects in the solution, okay, that are required. Okay, and I moved them to ctemp brochured packages, which is this thing. So in the end, I have all the projects for my solution here, which are created as NuGet packages. Okay, very simple. Even the MVC modules abstraction, the MVC module hosting. And from this folder, you can create a NuGet feed. So in your app, let me show it. In your app, you can have a, it's not there, let me open the project here. In your app, you just need to change the NuGet config file to also point to this folder, and this way the packages will be also loaded from this folder. Okay. In the future, all the project files will be on NuGet.org, so you won't need that, but so far for the demos it's necessary. So I have a local folder, and then I created a new web app. Okay, empty web app. I created the views for the layout. Okay, the layout is a little bit more complex because it's the layout from the sample MVC app in Visual Studio. So it's not an empty web app, it's the layout for the MVC app. But error page, same thing, view start for the layout. Program is the standard one, just Bootstrap, the IIS and Kestrel. And the startup, same thing, add module services, use modules, so very simple, but also use static files. Because in this web app, I have static files to serve, okay, CSS, images, and things like scripts, anything from the MVC sample. So I just want to serve static files, fine. And I have modules. And what is interesting with these modules is these two, the MVC default module is a module which just has views, about, contact, and index, and a simple controller, okay, to display these views with a view data. And these views are the ones from the MVC default template. Okay, and the ASP.NET, the ASP.NET identity is a module, an MVC module. It doesn't know about Orchard or whatever. It's an MVC module that is a copy of the MVC standard template from Visual Studio, from which I extracted all the things related to identity, which means app.useIdentity, app.useDatabase error page, which is in the default MVC template. I made a connection string, which I could take from the configuration, but I didn't have time to update this demo with the configuration. It's using Entity Framework and the Entity Framework for the user identity stores. So it will create the tables for users, roles, and everything. Email, SMS, everything from the MVC template, and the controllers to manage the users and to authenticate. Okay, so this is copy paste of the code from the MVC default template, but as a module, which means if I want to create a web app with just a layout and homepage and contact form, whatever, I just copy paste the MVC default module. Now, if I want to support authentication, authorization, creating users, and everything from Entity Framework ASP.NET Identity, I just copy paste the ASP.NET Identity module. Okay, it's not a checkbox that you have to check in your web app on creation, and you have a full of crap. We have lots of files and things everywhere in your app to support that, and if you want to remove it, good luck, because you don't know what has been added by this checkbox. It's just a module. You can add it, remove it, replace it by something else, change it, because you know it's isolated, so every change you do is just for identity. You are not breaking anything else from your app. So it's just there. And this one was just for a demo for that shows just a custom controller and the custom route in a module. Okay, and now if I run this app, maybe I broke it. No, it works. So this is a standard MVC app that you, when you do find new ASP.NET app, you have the links here. And if you look at the links, you see MVC default. This is the prefix from the module's name. Okay, and if I click on login, this is the prefix from the ASP.NET Identity module, account login. And I already set it up, so it will work with an account I created, login. I'm logged in, you see, from a module. The only thing is that because there is no navigation module, this menu can't be automatically provided by the different modules. It's just that my layout, because I know I have two modules, has links pointing to the other modules. So let me show you the links, actually, how it looks like. So if I go to the layout here, see, here are three links for the MVC default area: home, about, contact, and same thing for login. There must be one somewhere, or maybe it's coming from a partial. Yes, look at that. You can. It's like shapes. You can say, oh, I want to render the partial view, which is in this module here. Okay. So you compose your app based on modules. For Orchard, we will have made a shape because we will have then overridden this with a theme specific view instead of changing directly the module. Okay, so that's it. So the goal of this web app is to be able to have the default MVC website from Visual Studio, but instead of having checkboxes in the dialog boxes and have everything done for once in your app, you can drag and drop modules to have the same experience. Like, oh, I want to add a blog. Well, you create a blog app and you copy paste it to your modules folder. It will work. And it works also with Entity Framework. Here, there is no SQL, there is no Orchard data access layer. It's just purely what you want as modules. Questions? Do you like it? Does it make sense? Sergio won't use Orchard anymore, I'm sure. So I named it also. So and the modules, yeah, the modules. When you create a module, you just reference. You see MVC module abstractions. So I named it this way just to make a demo to the team, to the MVC team, so that they can understand that it's not because Orchard does 1,000 things that we can't extract 1 or 2 of them and reuse it in MVC without calling it Orchard. So they can say, well, it's Orchard code base, but we don't show up the Orchard namespace here. Okay, it's just to prevent any bias they will have against Orchard and to have a demo that looks like what a user could have. If it was integrated in ASP.NET. So that will be my next step to show to a broader audience in the team to see their reaction and what they, because we've been talking about making modules in ASP.NET MVC for a while, and the answer has always been to use Orchard. So it's still Orchard, but it might be marketed differently to reach a broader audience. Because when you say, oh, let's use Orchard, well, it's huge. No, I don't want the setup, I don't want the admin, I don't want multi-tenancy, I don't want the theming, I don't want the content management modules, I don't want only trade, whatever. You don't want to use everything. So this is a way to show that, no, we can be completely modular and take some bits and pieces. Also, the next step, I had a little chat with Nick this morning on Skype who didn't like the name Orchard CMS. And I kind of agree that, yeah, it's, so we have, let's say, MVC.modules that you can reference and use add modules. You can also reference Orchard.cms and use add Orchard CMS, which will add all the core components that you want. But maybe what he suggested is that CMS is actually another layer. So maybe we need something in the middle. So MVC modules and something with multi-tenancy, which doesn't need to have content management system. You could have theming without content management system. You could have a setup. You could have identity, which is users, permissions, roles. What else? You could have SQL as that access layer, but SQL is actually used in identity so far, but it could be done differently because identity just requires some providers, so we could maybe extract it. So let's say we have ASP.NET MVC modules, okay, which could be a component that you can reuse. You could also have something that I called Orchard Software as a Service framework, okay, that will contain something like this. And something like Orchard CMS, which will be Orchard Software as a Service, plus content management modules, plus navigation. Well, maybe navigation should be here, actually. Okay, because it has nothing to do with content management. With the content types, what do we have? Lists. We see where I go. So this way you will have 3 levels of framework that you can use and start from. Orchard CMS, so this one to make modular MVC applications, this one to make multi-tenant software as a service applications, okay, multi-tenancy modules per tenant, so modules management, tenant management, theming, setup, but no content management modules, and then yeah, you see layout and everything. Even audit trails could be there or whatever. So that's I think a good vision, that, and there is no work to do to do that. So Orchard framework. I think it all makes sense. What do you think? So the idea being able to reach a broader audience who might not be interested in the CMS itself, but all the other components. And it's also better for us if we want to just use the CMS, because all the other components will have still more users, and it will benefit every level of the architecture. And also, maybe we should actually call Orchard only the CMS and rename the things before. So let's call it ASP.NET MVC modules. That's a dream. Like, I like it to be part of ASP.NET. That would be more resources to work on that. This one also makes sense. Okay, maybe we should explicitly not call it just Orchard, but with something that people will understand that there is the thing which is multi-tenant and theming and setup and admin, but it's not about the CMS. The CMS is even something else. Like I said last week, we have Django and there is Django CMS. Okay, there are two different things, and some people are based on Django, some people are based on the CMS. But those who don't want to use a CMS, OpenID, the thing that Sergio has been working on, and Kevin. So you see, these things make sense for any software as a service app, and maybe not for, and you don't, and CMS is just something on top of that. So I think it's good to be able to componentize. Good. So I'm not far away from merging that. It's currently in 2 branches. Let me show you the branches if you want to play with it or look at the source code, how it looks like for a new web app. The first branch I made was modular, which is just adding what I showed you for MVC. And then another branch where I started to rename things with ASP.NET names just for the demo purpose. So far I will keep it this way in the different branches and see where it goes. And at some point, when we agree on some names, even if I merge it with Microsoft ASP.NET Core MVC names, nobody will care. That's fine, that will work, and it's independent from you. It's just a name in the project JSON. We can rename it later. We can introduce the Orchard.sas later. If you have ideas for names or project names or technical names, let me know. Maybe, for instance, I would not have thought about Orchard.sas if Nick hadn't said he didn't like Orchard.cms directly. So there will not be an Orchard.cms project. It's just a set of modules in a CMS ecosystem. A CMS is just that you take this thing with a recipe in the setup folder that will set up these modules by default. So it's like a folder with CMS modules, okay? But the project itself doesn't know about CMS. There are just modules in a specific folder targeting the CMS. And the recipe will say, I need this one, this one, this one, and this one, okay? Sipke, you didn't say anything.
You know what I'm going to say.
That sucks.
I love it.
Okay, good. You should also show it to Daniel. I'd like to know what he thinks.
Sure.
I'm sure he would like it.
I'll have him. I think so. I'll be sure to ask him to watch this video.
Good. Any other questions? We talked about the RTL. I showed O2, modularity, status done. Desktop or mobile apps, not web. Not web. No, it has to be web. We are just doing web. Unless you mean, you could say the Orchard framework as a set of APIs that can be used on any client. This is valid too. Yes. Is web/API, web pages/API. So it can just be about APIs. You can just do a modular application just for supporting an API. You can have an admin and UI for managing your app, but in the end, your client might just be APIs, and you don't have any views on the front end. There is just the admin module. That's it for you. So, and the idea with being able to do that is someone could say, I want to create a blog module. I want to create a whatever module that targets MVC and not, for instance, Orchard CMS. And then there could be ecosystems of modules that to build apps, not toward a specific ecosystem like Orchard CMS. Okay. So people could have lots of big applications based on that, reusing modules and segregating their own big application into different modules for different teams, for reusing things across apps, even if it's not Orchard CMS itself. That's fine. And they can still at some point switch to Orchard CMS and mix their own modules with the modules from the Orchard CMS. That would be great. Okay, that's it. If you don't have any other questions, I close the meeting. No update on Harvest since last time. Still checking for the hotel we had in mind in New York. Same dates, around the 21st, I think, of February. But until it's official, it's not official. And we'll be working with Sipke on releasing 1.10.2. And then we look into 1.10. Once we ship 1.10.2, we'll start a branch to ship 1.11. Yes, Sancho, New York. That's the plan right now in February. It will be cold, even more for you. You have never seen snow, Sergio, so it will be the first time. Okay, good. Thanks, everyone.